Hello and welcome to a massive post-season edition of Fox Sports Lab NBA. I'm your host, Ben Dixon. Joining me, as always, at the desk, the NBA experts, Jaymz Clements and Jack Heverin. Welcome, boys.
Business end of the season, Dicko. Good to be here.
I love this, Dicko. I'm just like the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not ready for the spotlight.
You're always ready for the spotlight. Coming up, we look at how Dahlia's helped shape one of the biggest season surprise packets. We zone in on day one of the play-ins, and of course, we make the big calls on this weekend's playoffs. All right, it's time to look back on a season of big surprises and big disappointments. Jack, let's start with you. You've got the Knicks and the Aussies as two of your big highlights.
I do. We don't agree on a lot, the two of us, but we both agree on the Aussies and the season that they've had in the NBA. They've been absolutely superb. I just wanted to give a little shout out to a couple of different options. James, I'm not sure that you'll have Dyson Daniels on your list. 19 years of age, was getting no burn whatsoever at the start of the season, has played his way into this Pelicans team based on the defensive end. And did I mention that he's 19 years of age? And of course, Josh Giddey's got that three ball up beyond 30%. Not a breathtaking number, but a big improvement for him. The Knicks are the big story for me. They're one of these teams in the NBA that it's a healthy, happy NBA when the New York Knicks are up and firing at the moment. They play at Madison Square Garden, all the stuff that doesn't need to be said, I'm going to say anyway. But they've been fun to watch, and Julius Randle has absolutely started to realise his full potential now. Their run to the playoffs has been breathtaking. I can't wait to see what happens in the postseason.
I do love that. I love the Knicks. That's awesome. They're fun, right? Finally. It only took them another 10 years since the last time. My big surprises for this season, though, how can you not go past the team out there in California going, every time they win, fires and laser! They love it. Sacramento, it's their first division title in 20 years. 2002, 2003, they last won the division out there in the Pacific. But of course, they're now the West 3 seed. And it's all because of our man, King Delhi, Matty Dellavedova. Steps in just as the perfect vet off the bench. Barely plays. You don't need to sometimes. You just got to give the guidance. But this is an awesome story. Like, this has been the biggest surprise. They've jumped. They hire Mike Brown. He turns that franchise around. They jump all the way up to the 3 seed in the playoffs for the first time since 06, 07. I love this. It's the best story in the NBA, in my opinion. They're so fun. Domantas Sabonis, the Souvlaki King, I love him. De'Aaron Fox, it's basically a fighter jet turned into a person. I love it. They're an awesome, awesome story. But there's one out east I love as well. The Cavs, they're actually taking on the Knicks in the playoffs. What an awesome story that is too. Donnie Mitchell gets traded there. Didn't expect them to be this good. The defense, it's the best in the NBA. That's incredible. Donnie Mitchell's not known for his defense. It's all go the throw Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So that turnaround has been impressive. I'll also give you another one back out west, Lauri Markkanen, the finisher. How good is that, the finisher? I love him. He in Utah, he was so good this year, the Jazz couldn't tank. Yeah. Like, they tried to, they wanted to. They're like, we want Victor Wembanyama, we're going to trade all our blokes. Lauri Markkanen's like, not on my watch, check this out. Bang, off he goes. And SGA and the Thunder, you mentioned Josh Giddey, he's been incredible. I love this. That's an awesome story in the play-in. SGA making it all run at all NBA.
All right, now, Jack, every high there's a low.
Yes.
Every surprise there's a disappointment. Now, you weren't picking up what the Clippers were putting down, were you?
No, sir, and have not been all season long. I know they finished 5th in the West, and some people say, you're kidding, they've made the playoffs. But this is a Paul George, Kawhi Leonard team. Kawhi back fit and healthy after nearly 18 months out injured. They have not even gone close to reaching their full potential. They've been so harder to catch than an eel with a pair of rubber gloves. They're so inconsistent. They've been a big-time disappointment. Now, they could go on and do some damage in the playoffs, but I can't see it, James.
I like it. I'm going to stay with the West for a disappointment. How about the Dallas Mavericks? You trade for NBA Kanye, old Kyrie Irving over there. They go from the Western Conference Finals last year to wasting a year of Luka's prime, missing the play-in. You're not in the top 10 best teams in the West. That's a wild disappointment. They're 38-44 for a 24-year-old MVP candidate, averaging a 32, 8 and 8. To miss the play-ins, that's more disappointing than basically anything my Year 12 girlfriend had to deal with. Like, Ben Simmons as well. Talk about disappointments. I mean, that was a dumpster fire of a year. Career lows across the board. He had a chance there to put a bit of a stamp on this season as well. Go up tempo. He's got an awesome team around him. Just has to go in, fit in, and it doesn't happen. Hopefully he gets healthy and he bounces back next year. But still, honorary mention: Dame Lillard and the Blazers. Oh, yeah. They were right. Good, and then it all fell apart.
Just quickly, a team in Texas that you've been disappointed with?
It was Dallas.
Dallas.
So bad. So bad.
All right. Thanks, team. I reckon there's a few surprises still to come as we head into the playoffs.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.
Well, the dream is still alive for the Hawks and for the Lakers after their big wins on Wednesday. The question is, though, James, can the dream go any further for either of them?
For either of them, maybe. We're going to say no for the Hawks. I think it stops dead in Boston because, look, the Hawks were really good getting past the Heat. Like, the fact that they out-toughed the Miami Heat was pretty cool, pretty crazy, a bit weird, bit unsurprising. Well, a bit surprising. But the tricky part is they take on a Boston Celtics team whose strength is the exact opposite of that Miami Heat squad, right?
Yeah.
The Celtics are a top 2 offense and defense, but most crucially, we saw the Hawks beat the Heat with rebounding. The Celtics are the best defensive rebounding team in the NBA. They're not going to get as many second chance points. The Celtics swept this season's series. Clint Capella was like a net rating of minus 33. DeJounte Murray was a net rating of minus 22. This is going to be a bloodbath. Give me 4-1, I think, in the Celtics. You've got too many weapons on the wings, too many weapons in the backcourt. They're going to kill Atlanta. But
Lakers?
The Lakers. This is tricky. Against the Grizz, what a great setup this is. The Lakers have been a top 4 defense since the All-Star break. I expect this goes 7 games. You've got LeBron James, Anthony Davis, maybe Shannon Sharp in a nice sweater, and away we go against the Grizzlies. I don't think anyone on the Lakers can slow down Ja Morant, though, but I think this one goes 4-3 because he's one to tuck away. The Grizzlies have been called for the 13th most fouls since the All-Star break. The Lakers, the least.
Really?
It's going to be a whistle fest, I'm just saying. So give me 4-3 for the Lakers to sneak past the Grizzlies.
That's the latest on the play-ins, but watch this space. The Warriors and the Kings meet again, but this time it's in the playoffs, James. This is going to be fun. Can the Warriors get it done again?
Can they? Yes. Will they? Yes.
There
I
it
think
is.
they will. I think they will. I love the Kings. We all know that. I love the Sacramento Kings. It's the best story of the NBA this season. These are the 2 best scoring sides in the NBA going head to head. They're 90 miles away. Sacramento versus San Francisco. I love this setup. The craziest part is we know that the Warriors have been absolutely horrible on the road this season. Jack, what were they, 11-31?
Yep, they won 11 games and somehow avoided the play-in. How does that happen?
Absolutely amazing, but now they've got a very, very close matchup, so they don't have to spend too much time on the road, obviously, which is pretty handy. You've got Steph, you've got Clay, you've got Draymond. They're going to have to rely on Jordan Poole as well to keep up with this Sacramento team, but this is it. I think the Warriors can actually go into Sacramento. There'll be so much hype behind this team. Give them a bit of shock and awe because this Warriors defense can step up. We've seen them do it before.
Yep.
They've got Andrew Wiggins, they've got Gary Payton, the mitten. He's not the glove, he's the mitten.
He's the mitten.
He's the second. So give me Darren Fox to have a really good game. 30 plus points, 8 plus assists. Domantas Sabonis, the Souvlaki King, 15 points, 12 plus rebounds, 8 plus assists. Steph Curry, though, to go massive. 30 plus points, 5 plus rebounds, and the Warriors get a road win and really knock the Kings back on their heels. It's going to be a fascinating series. I could see this going the absolute limit, but I think the Warriors just get them over the line at the end, but they win game 1.
It is going to be fascinating. The old guard and the new kids on the block. Cannot wait for this one. Let's stay in the West now as we turn our focus to another beauty between the Clippers and the Suns. James, the big question though, can Devin Booker and Chris Paul do enough to help Kevin Durant in game 1?
Can they, Jack? Yes. Will they? Also, yes. This is an awesome game. This could be a Western Conference Finals, but it's in the first round. This is probably the best series we're going to get in this playoffs, I reckon. The best part is you got Russell Westbrook versus Kevin Durant, former teammates. You've got the Chris Paul Bowl. Yeah. He used to play for the Clippers. He's now on the Suns. He's trying to get that one ring that he doesn't have. His old team versus his new team. I love this. Look, Devin Booker's probably the key here because he can go absolutely ham because we've got Paul George dealing with an injury, right? He's not back yet. He's not going to be there for the start of the series. I think the Suns can run over the top of the Clippers pretty early on, win this first game. But for this game 1, I want to see Kevin Durant with 25 plus points, Devin Booker with 25 plus as well. It's going to have to be Kawhi Leonard to do all the heavy lifting for the Clippers, so give me 30 plus points for Kawhi, 8 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists, but the Suns win game 1 in the desert. I just think they're a little bit too deep. I think they're a little bit better across the board. This is a Suns team that's been unbeaten with Kevin Durant in the lineup, 8-0, but also they're 10th in offense and defense since the All-Star break, basically. That's even with KD in and out of the lineup. They're just too good. This Clippers team, a little bit too up and down.
The Suns are given an 84% chance of winning this series, and I am absolutely with that. The odds look to be stacked against the Clippers in this one.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.
Finally, the postseason is here and it's time for a supersized edition of the Big Call. Let's head east, James. There's no Ben Simmons, but how do the Nets stop the big man mountain Joel Embiid?
I don't know. They pray. But no, seriously, the Ben Simmons Bowl without Ben Simmons is very Ben Simmons, doesn't it feel? But this is a tricky one, right? You got the Sixers with the absolute superstar, my MVP, Joel Embiid, in the middle. How do the Nets slow him down? They're going to throw switches at him. They're one of the most switchy defenses in the NBA. This is the 16th ranked defense. So look, they do have a bit of a chance at slowing them down, but they just don't have the size. It's really, really tough if you can't throw just at least another big giant dude at Joel Embiid. They just don't have it. They've got Nick Claxton, who's a really good defender, but he just doesn't have the size, the girth around him to slow down big Joel Embiid. So you'll see a lot of that sort of switching coverage, throw a lot of doubles. They've got a lot of lengthy wings on that Sixers team, on that Nets team to take on this Sixers team. So I think they'll try to slow down James Harden, who's already dealing with an injury. My key for this series, I think, is actually Tyrese Maxey. I think he'll absolutely have himself a time. He's going to go absolutely ham. I think the Sixers will be sitting and go, right, if we're getting Harden shut down, Embiid's just facing so many different looks, Maxey will be free and clear to do whatever he needs to. So I think what we'll see, Mikal Bridges out there in the Nets, he should be absolutely smashing this, but they've got no other real scorers. Spencer Dinwiddie, pretty handy, running the show, but I do think the Sixers pretty easily win the series, probably a gentleman's sweep, shall we say, 4-1. So for game one, I'm going to have to go Joel Embiid for 30-plus points, 12-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists. Mikal Bridges, as we want to call him, 30-plus points, and a Sixers win at home at Wells Fargo in Philly. It's a bit of a tricky one though, Jack.
Won 7 of their last 8 at Wells Fargo, so it's a pretty good record going in. Good luck, Nick Claxton. That's all I'll say. They've got no way I can see of stopping Joel Embiid.
All right, I'm going to stay with you, Jack, because the Knicks and the Cavs is shaping as the what-if series. And I say that because what if the Knicks had traded Donovan Mitchell if they had the chance?
Wow. This is going to be one of those things that we'll never quite know, will we? But I'm fascinated to see the defensively minded Cavs versus the offensively minded Knicks. Now, when these two come together in a playoff situation, historically it's the defensive end of the floor that wins out, even though we're seeing scores in the 120s most of the season here in the NBA. But this is the one that, to me, isn't clear at all, where we've got others that are pretty straightforward. I've got the Cavs, even though I said the Knicks are the great story this season, but with no great confidence, James.
I got to agree with that because, look, the Cavs are awesome, right? They've got the best defense in the NBA. They've got the big two, the thin towers, we call them, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Go-the-Throw-Allen. But they've also got the scoring. They've got Donnie Mitchell. They've got Darius Rucker-Judy-Garland. Just call him Darius Garland. It's fine. But they've got so much scoring power in that backcourt, and they've got so much defense in the front court that it's going to be really tough for this Knicks team. With Julius Randle, he should be back for this series, coming back from his ankle injury. But he's coming back from an ankle injury. Julius Randle alone can't really sort of put up enough to slow down this Cavs team. Jalen Brunson's going to be a key here for them, obviously. You've got RJ Barrett, but I just can't see the Knicks scoring enough on this Cavs team to slow them down. So for this first game, I think we've got Donnie Mitchell going massive. You talk about this being the what-if series. What if Donnie Mitchell was on the Knicks? It'd be awesome. He'd be lighting up MSG. He's going to do it anyway. When they get to games 3 and 4, Donnie Mitchell's going to go absolutely ham and just bury them. And I think it starts with game 1. I want 40 points for Donnie Mitchell in game 1. He was on a recent tear, ripped off 4 straight. So 40 points for Donnie. Evan Mobley has been tearing it up. Maybe a bit of a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. 15 points for him, 10-plus rebounds. And Jalen Brunson for the Knicks. He's going to have to steady the ship. 25 points for him, 8-plus rebounds. You probably throw some threes in there as well. But Cleveland win game 1 pretty handily, I think. And again, I don't think this series is going to be as tight as you might think there, Jack. I think this one might be a bit of a 4-1, 4-2. Knicks still won at MSG, pretty similar to how they played Atlanta a couple of years ago, where there's a lot of hype and everyone's up and about, but the better team smashes them in the end.
All right, that was the big call, and that was a little disagreement between our two experts. James, Jack, outstanding work today. Remember to subscribe below and follow us on socials. Enjoy the play-ins and the playoffs, and we'll see you again next week.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.